Hi everyone, I thought I would go through today's lesson as I'm not there and I don't want you to sit around and do nothing, but we need to continue on and we need to finish the murder. So today is the final part of the murder investigation, and this is the part where you actually have to present all your evidence and persuade the detective sergeant, that's me, that you've actually got a reasonable case and that we can arrest Mr. Jolly. Okay, so in today's lesson, you're going to write a 200 to 300 word synopsis detailing your findings and evidence, and you're going to present it to me on Thursday in a 5-minute oral. Okay, it'll be one member in your group will do the presentation. I bet I know who's going to do it in Nathan's group. Okay, and once you've done the presentation, I will then determine whether you actually go ahead and arrest the suspect. So it's all based on probable cause. So let's have a look at what probable cause actually is. Probable cause is the reasonable belief that a person has committed the crime. Okay, if they've confessed to it, then you're lucky. It should be a bit of an easier case. It won't be an open and shut case, but it will be a little bit easier. If they haven't confessed to the crime, then it could be a little bit more difficult, and that's where you have to really rely on your evidence. Okay, so in your groups you're going to discuss the evidence and the findings, and you're going to address the following questions. Now remember, this is a persuasive presentation and not just a factual report, so your argument must be convincing and you must provide good evidence to support your claims, and you've got to present it in a persuasive manner. Okay, so you might want to consider these questions. What do I want to convince others to believe? Okay, so what is your conclusion about the murder? And remember, it's not just monotone, boring voice. You actually have to persuade me that you actually need this guy arrested, and you're going to tell me why. Okay, what is your strongest piece of evidence? You've got a whole string of evidence. If you think back all the way from the blood typing, the DNA fingerprinting, the stride length, all those things, what is your strongest piece? Okay, and the other thing is, in what order do I place my other pieces of evidence? Do I place my strongest piece first, or start out, go the full force, and then gradually filter in all the other bits and pieces? Or do you start out with just a little bit and just like give him a little bit of bait and see if he'll take that hook, and and how do you present that? Okay, so it's up to you how you actually present it, but you need to make sure that you do have that strongest piece. And in your persuasive argument to me, I need to be able to pull out what your strongest piece is. So you have to think very carefully about your writing. Okay, the other thing is, how do I make my evidence credible? So how do you explain in brief that the forensic tests you performed are scientific as well? So here you're putting on your forensic scientist hat as well as your investigator hat. Okay, and then finally, what refutations can be made against my argument? So that is, how am I going to refute it? As you guys know, when I ask you questions and you give me an answer, sometimes I dig a little bit deeper and I want you to think about it. I want you to justify your answer and I want you to provide the evidence. Okay? Are there ways to rebut these in the short time that I have? So think about what kind of things might nitpick you on. Okay, so you've got to think about that. Okay, so your task for this lesson is you start your planning straight away. Prepare your synopsis so that one member of your group can present your findings to me, and then I'll determine if you can go ahead with the arrest. Now, that is today's lesson. On Thursday, you'll be doing your presentations. It's not going to take long if they're 5 minutes each. And from there, I'm going to say whether you can go ahead to the next part, or I'm going to say you guys need to regroup and come up with something better. I will have the next assessment task with me, and we will be doing that in class as well. Okay, so have a good day. Thank you. Bye.